Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Rontrell, aka Queenly Vibes. So, just coming back to do another movie review. So, a couple of days late with this, but like I always say, better late than never. So, this movie review is the movie with Megan Good and her sister. Also, Lamaya. I don't know her last name, but the movie is entitled Death Saved My Life. Okay, so we're going to jump into this. Okay, just a little background of my movie experiences concerning Megan Good. Megan Goods. Or Good. I don't know. It seems like her name's supposed to have an S at the end or whatever. Anyhow, I think she's a really good actress. I don't know, but for some reason, it just seems like all of her, from her being a teen and, when she started to, really get a lot of attention as she started to mature and grow up into this beautiful woman that we see today. She pretty much played these roles as like a little, like a sex kitten, the boy crush or, or what have you, the pretty, sexy girl and everything. One of my favorite movies with Megan Good is actually Eve's Bayou. When she was a kid, I think she was like maybe a preteen or something like that. That was one of my favorite movies with Megan Good because I really thought that it showed her true acting abilities. And, Journey Smollett, who I love, she's a phenomenal actress as well. I think she's, very underrated and everything. So, what's another, and then Megan Good, of course, she went on to do a lot of other movies and projects and different things like that, Waist Deep and, what have you. But I still really don't feel like her movies as of yet have taken me to the place to say, oh, wow, she deserves an Oscar. I'm sorry. I mean, I love her dearly. I think she's a gorgeous woman, obviously, and all of that. But, for whatever reason, I just haven't seen that movie that, with her in it to make me say, wow, Megan Good, she really did a phenomenal job. It's just, I don't know, it just seems to be kind of mediocre when it comes down to her. I'll jump into a little bit more of my opinions a little bit, later after my review of this movie, Death Saved My Life. Funny thing with this movie, it kind of reminds me of the movie with Julia Roberts. I think the name of that movie was Sleeping with the Enemy, if I'm not mistaken, which I absolutely love that movie. I love Julia Roberts. That movie was excellent. I love the plot. I love the acting. Everything was just on point. I mean, it was just an awesome movie. Now this movie, to me, it was kind of like the like the black version of that, if you will. It started off, let's see, with them going to, I have my notes this time. It started off with them going to a party celebration. And, so they were getting dressed in the home to go to her husband's celebration. I think he was being honored or something like that. He was a doctor, I believe a cardiologist, and she worked as, let me get my notes, in a marketing firm or something like that. So, it starts off really nice. Like, it started out strong. Like, it started out really strong. So I just really thought, like, okay, this is going to be good. I had my snacks, I had some pizza and all of that. I'm like, okay, this is about to be good. And, they had the little girl and everything. And, so, of course, the big, beautiful home and all of that. All of these movies seem to be, the same thing. Somebody is a doctor, somebody's successful, or what have you. The big, beautiful home, the beautiful Cosby kids looking children, and all of that. Somebody light skinned for no reason, because, her husband was dark skinned, Megan's brown skin, beautiful little girl. But anyhow, you know how it goes. Which, by the way, I always like to comment on the men in the movies and stuff like that, who I feel is handsome and all of that. Thumbs up to him. I don't think I've seen this actor in anything else. I don't believe so. But I thought he was very handsome, because I do love chocolate men, and everything. So I thought he was pretty good looking and all of that. So anyhow, back to the beginning of the movie. So it started out them getting ready for his oh, excuse me, 1 minute. That's why I always keep water around me. Plus, after this, I got to do my workout. So this is why I'm looking like this, or what have you. Natural girl. It is what it is. To see me and to know me is to love me. Anyways, so they're getting dressed and everything. And, first of all, so she had on this wig or what have you. And, I hate that typical looking wig that they give these actresses when they're, I guess like a wife and a mother, kind of, the little flip out wig, a little bit with the bangs and all of that. And I'm just like, really? Okay. Didn't care for the wig on her. And then I especially hate those type of wigs. And then they put the butterfly clip in the back of the wig. Oh God. It just looks tacky to me. I just can't stand that. That went out, as far as I'm concerned, in the 90s or whatever. That's just my opinion, Anyhow, so she wanted to, she went up into the closet, big, beautiful closet, of course, all the clothes, all the shoes lined up, all that good stuff. And she tries on the dress that she wanted to wear, which was this red sequence dress. The dress was beautiful. And I thought it went, it accentuated her very well. So, as she put the dress on, she's just kind of like looking in the mirror and seeing like there's slashes on her dress, and she's just like in the mirror, like, oh my God. So I think she knew, obviously, her husband had something to do with it. So, he comes around and he's kind of like, watching her in the mirror, looking at herself and everything. And he's like, right away, he gave off this devious type of vibe as to, I didn't want you wearing that. And that's pretty much what he said to her or what have you. And she was like, oh, I guess I'll change my dress. I'll wear the other one or what have you. And he was like, yeah, good choice, because that dress makes you look like a slut or a whore or something like that. And he just gave right away just an evil vibe, an evil presence, So I'm like, oh boy, here we go. This is about to be good. Come on, Ike, and everything. So, she just looked mortified and just so frightened and everything. So I'm like, poor girl, right away. So she takes the dress off and then she throws on this pink chiffon 1983 prom dress or what have you. Pause. yeah, she puts on this chiffon peach dress. I think it had a little, I don't know, maybe a little poof to the sleeves, or I don't know. It didn't flatter her at all. The dress was just ugly. You know what I mean? I was just like, okay, so I guess that's why he, probably wanted her to wear it, because he's this psycho control freak, and he knows that he had this beautiful woman, beautiful body and everything, and he didn't want that attention towards her, or what have you. And, like he possessive, just control freak, So I'm just like, oh, okay. And then I think she had her hair with that clip in that darn clip. She had the wig on with the little clip in the back. I'm like, really? I'm like, okay, country bumpkin. So, they go on to enjoy the evening, he's, their friends and stuff are there and all of that. And I think he was he was given an award or something like that for being this, great physician, all of that and everything. So, okay. So they got through that. So then they go home. I hope I'm not skipping over anything. Yeah, so they go home. Let me just check my notes here. Give me a minute. Okay, right. So then they head home, and they started to have like this conversation and everything. And I don't know, like she took the attention off of him for a minute, and she began to talk about, I believe, her coworker or something like that. And I don't know, like I think she complimented the guy. By the way, her coworker, I think, had this huge crush on her, and he was really cute. And she said something about him or what have you, and I don't know what made her say what she said to do, because he snapped. He freaking snapped. And he just slapped her from here to over to Georgia and just hauled off and slapped her, and I'm just like, oh my God. So I really thought, like, okay, yeah, this is definitely the black version of Sleeping with the Enemy with Julia Roberts. So I'm just like, wow, at that moment, it was just definitely very intense, because the girl barely said 2 words. But again, it wasn't centered around him and his accomplishments. And, he just seemed like one of those guys. He just wanted his woman to just bow down and just praise and worship him and treat him like this God, where she couldn't have an opinion about anything else, or especially about another man, so that was out of the question. So I'm just like, on the edge of my bed at this point. So I'm just like, okay, we got a winner here as far as the movie, being good. So from that point, I knew he was a complete psychopath, the ripped dress and everything that he, did to her beautiful dress, all of that, whatever. And now on to this. So with that slap, obviously he was already like, abusing her and everything, and abusing her in more than one way, other than just physical, mental, emotional, and everything else. All right. So let's just move on. So now after that, she acts as if everything is okay. This is the next morning. Let's see. Yeah, the next morning they're having breakfast with their daughter and everything. And, you can just kind of see this look in Megan's face. I should have wrote down the character's name, but you can just see this look on her face, like she was contemplating and thinking about her next move as to how she was just going to get out of there and leave this guy and everything. So, which is, it's just really sad that it even had to go there and everything, because the daughter was obsessed with her father. She really loved her father and all of that, because now when a woman have to get out of a relationship like that, which she should get out and everything, any woman should, or any man should, if he's being abused or physically harmed or what have you, you should definitely leave these type of, relationships. It's just very unfortunate because, this breaks up the family. This little girl is obsessed with her father, and, she have her father and her mother, just sad. So anyhow, oh yeah, so prior to that happening, this was like in the beginning, I forgot to mention, her sister came over to get their daughter so that she can babysit the daughter, so that they can go to the event. And he said a little remark about the sister as far as he didn't want her to babysit their daughter because he said that she was bipolar. He said that she was bipolar, and he just really didn't trust, her to babysit their daughter and everything. So right away, he's completely controlling her, and it seems to be that he wanted to alienate her from her family, which this is what most abusers do. So I'm just like, really, dude, whatever. People have problems. Doesn't mean that because she was bipolar and, as long as she was, being treated, taking her meds and, being healthy and all of that, what's the problem? People have issues, as long as it can be diagnosed, recognized, and you get the help for it, you can live a normal life, Anyway, so let's forward wind and go back into them being at breakfast. So, the little girl and the dad, they basically were eating breakfast. Megan is just kind of watching him and just waiting for him to leave so she can make her next move to get the heck out of there, which, of course, that's what she needed to do. So, sure enough, and I figured that's where the movie was leading. So, so she got the girl was dressed for school, all of that. He left. And so she just basically told her daughter, okay, come on, we're gonna leave. We're going to Aunt so-and-so's house and everything, we're leaving. So she packed a bag or whatever. She left. She went to her sister's house. And, she just basically told her, I can't do this. I can't live like this, this, that, and the third and all of that. So the sister was like, listen, you can just stay here as long as you want. I am here for you. You don't have to go back. Right? So, yeah. So after she leaves and everything, which I'm really surprised that it kind of just went like that she was just able to easily just leave or what have you, anyways. So finally, she did keep her job and everything, because at one point he was telling her that he wanted her to quit her job and all of that, but luckily she kept her job. And then she eventually moves into her own home. She stayed with the sister for a while until she was able to get her own home. So I was like, okay, great. This is good. Again, back to like the Julia Roberts character is what she did, or what have you. But we'll move on. Let's see. So yeah. They were at the daughter's soccer game, I believe. Yeah, and he had already started dating someone else. At least he wanted her to think that he was in a relationship with someone else. And the girl looked just like Megan, except her hair looked better to me. She had a better stylist. Same hairstyle, about the same complexion, about the same, physical build and everything. And I'm just like, okay, he went out and got her doppelganger? Like, seriously? This guy is really psycho. So, Megan is kind of just like looking at him or whatever. And for a split second, I thought she was even jealous. For a split second, she kind of just had this look on her face like, she was like, oh, girlfriend? And he's like, oh, and he's just trying to be all, like he's not bothered by anything. He's like, oh, yeah, yeah, we're dating and everything, like trying to just put out this image like he's okay. Hey, look at me. I'm dating this beautiful woman who, you got somebody? Who you got? That's what he was giving off. Which a lot of people will do that sometimes to throw off the person that they really truly want to be with. They'll just right away just date someone that they feel is a little bit similar to that person and just kind of, put out this vibe as if like, yeah, I'm already dating, I'm good. I don't need you. So she, so Megan kind of just looked and was like, okay. And then she kind of just smiled to herself. So that kind of confused me because at first I thought she was a little jealous, but then I guess she was just like, it was a relief to her. So I said, okay, good. Maybe she's okay. And it would have been okay that she did feel a little jealous because it was her husband. Even though he, abused her and all of that, I can imagine the different emotions in that, Anyways, so, so she goes back to work and everything. She's basically living her life. She's living her life. She's loving her job. And like I said, the guy that she works with, her coworker, seems to have this big crush on her and everything. And he was really cute and all of that. But she, she was just trying to live her life, just getting out of something. So I can imagine she just didn't want to just start dating like right away. Because, the guy was just so giddy around her and everything. And she was just cool and calm and collected, just kind of like, okay, yeah, whatever. But she never put out that she wanted to get with him or anything. So all of a sudden now she goes out to her car and, she's putting her purse, her briefcase, whatever in the back seat, whatever. And this guy out of nowhere, he pulls a gun out on her. And this was like broad daylight. Like her coworker had just left her. And this guy pulls out a gun on her. And she just kind of just dropped to the ground and was just like, she was just fearing for her life, and everything. And, so I'm just like thinking in my mind, of course the husband set this up. Obviously the husband did this. And so her coworker comes running back over to her and he's like, is everything okay? And she was just really, she was shooken up and, she was just like frozen basically and everything. And she was just like, oh, someone pulled a gun out on me and everything. And, so I don't know why they didn't, oh yeah, I do know why. So, because I was just about to say, I don't know why they didn't call the police, but yeah, the whole police thing, her ex-husband or soon to be ex-husband was, best friends with the police chief, How convenient is that? The abuser is besties with the police chief. So, hey, he gets to beat up his wife and be chums with the, with the big man here. So her coworker did want her to call the police. So he was just like, okay, let's just call the police and everything. So she's like, no, that's okay. And, she kind of thought about it and everything. And she just knew that nothing would be done about it. You know what I mean? Because she didn't she didn't really have a good description of the guy and everything. I think she actually did talk to the police chief and everything, but she didn't want to make the, what do you call it? She didn't want to put out the police report because she didn't have enough evidence or whatever. And I think at that point she just felt like it didn't really matter because nothing would be done about it. And she really couldn't tell him that, the ex-husband was abusing her and all of that. And she probably just felt like she wouldn't have any support behind it. Okay, so just moving on. What else happened at this point? Oh yeah, by the way, they were married for 10 years. And like I said, he had a problem with the sister because he did say that, like, she disappeared and was living homeless and stuff like that, what have you. That was a concern, but she was doing better. So anyhow, basically after that, she came up with this plan to, to stage that she was murdered and everything. And I'm just like, okay, which again, the Julia Roberts movie, that's pretty much the same thing she did, but she did it in a really good, clever way. Because how she did it was first of all, she pretended that she couldn't swim, but behind her husband's back, she took swimming lessons. And then she ended up jumping in the lake or the ocean or whatever, and swam, got away from him, all of that. Megan's character faked her death. She started beating herself up in the kitchen. She, roughing herself up, and doing all this sort of stuff or what have you, and just, I guess, to kind of stage as if maybe a robber attacked her or, that she was attacked and all of that. But for me, at that point, when she started to do all of that, and then she went into hiding and everything, and, it did start to be, and then her husband took the daughter and everything, and I don't know, it started to, be a little believable. The husband started to believe it. I don't think the sister knew at first what was going on, but, later on she found out and all of that. After that, it kind of just got boring to me. I'm sorry to say, but, I just, I lost interest. At that point, I really truly lost interest because, her role basically at that point was she was in hiding. She was, at one point she was watching her daughter, playing outside and stuff like that. And, it was just that whole typical thing when someone is trying to fake their death or what have you. But I don't know. I thought it was boring. I really did. And I'm sorry to say, because like I said, I love Megan. And, it was just good to see her and her sister both in this movie. So I was rooting for them. But it just kind of flopped for me. I don't know. I really got bored at that point. Like, I just started doing other stuff. The movie was still on. And I'm just like, oh, okay. So as I kept watching, the husband did get very upset. At one point he was performing surgery and he couldn't perform. His hands were shaky, what have you. His team had to end up saving that patient, and his boss just told him, listen, just take some time off. You're lucky that your license won't be revoked or suspended or what have you, because you really need to take some time off here. You could have killed this patient, basically, is what he said to him. And then he was just like, no, I'm good, and whatever. I'm like, boy, this guy is really psycho, seriously. So, like I said, I was bored at this point because the beginning of it, it started out really strong, but by the mid portion of the movie, it was just kind of like, they went up the hill and crashed for me. That's all I can say. She faked her death long enough to be safe and everything, and I believe she, I don't know, was able to divorce him. I don't know, yada yada yada. I'm just so sorry, guys, but it just really bored me, and I'm just like, why won't they put Megan in a really good movie? Like, I would love to see her play, which, this character, she didn't play just a pretty girl, which was good, but I don't know. I think the storyline or something, I don't know, it was just missing a lot of stuff for me. Even when she did Intruder, that was a good movie. I thought that was really good. Michael Ealy, I love him. He's a phenomenal actor. Dennis Quaid, I believe, was in the movie. He was fired. Like, his role was really intense, and he did a good job. And then Megan, I thought she was good. I thought she was okay. I really just thought she was okay. Like, Michael gave me, the qualities of what I'm so used to with him. Dennis, did a phenomenal job. And then Megan, to me, was just okay. But I don't know, like, even in that movie, The Intruder, I felt like anyone could play that role. You know what I mean? Like, I felt that, what are some African American actresses out there that I particularly love? Nia Long, I love her. Eva Marcel. It was interesting because when I watched that movie, and I know I'm sidetracking, I'm going off into something else, but just follow me. When I saw the movie, I just said, wow, I don't know why. I just felt like that role would have been a good role for Eva Marcel. I think Eva Marcel is a good actress. I think she's slept on. But I just really felt like she could have did that role. I felt that, who else could have did that role? Just so many more actresses. It's like I'm seeing faces. I can't think of the names right now. But I just really felt like, it could have been other leading ladies that could have really did maybe a better job with that role. I'm sorry, Megan. No shade. If you see this, just know I love you. And I'm really praying that you just get that Oscar-winning type role, like, because look at Halle Berry. She's a beauty as well, and she's not always this the sex kitten. Girl can act her butt off. You know what I mean? So I guess that's what I'm waiting for with Megan. And like I said, I haven't really gotten that from her since Eve's Bayou. I mean, she was phenomenal in that. You know what I mean? It was like, wow, we knew she was going places, but her movie roles started to kind of be that same. She's the guy crush. All the guys are crushing, on her, or then she's this sex kitten, what have you, and after a while, it gets old. And see, the thing about it is the difference with men and women when they go into characters like that. Let's take Morris Chestnut. Like, he's this beautiful looking man, but he can act. and he can play the police officer, he can play the private detective, and you're not always just looking at him as like, Lord, he's just so fine or what have you. You can get into the character with him. I don't know. That's just how I feel about it. But anyway, that was my take on Death Saved My Life. I'll be doing more of these reviews for the Lifetime movies, because I love Lifetime movies. I definitely want to start doing the reviews for all of these Lifetime movies that Vivica Fox is coming out with. She's another one. I love Vivica Fox, but yeah, we'll chat about that. The next time she puts out one of these Lifetime movies, because I think she have like 25 of them talking about some the wrong Valentine, the wrong stranger, the wrong girlfriend. I'm just like, what is going on with this? How many wrongs we gonna do before we can get them right? Vivica. She haven't given me much since Soul Food, or I liked her in the movie with Lorenz Tate. I think it's Why Do Fools Fall in Love? But it's interesting, because even in that movie, the one line that the one scene that I like from her is when she got really dramatic about when he threw the dog outside. And like, I felt some emotion from her. Like, it was that emotion that I was looking for from her as an actress. You know what I mean? And that's what I go by. I don't, I like actresses and actors that can give me versatility. Anyways, I'll go on and on and on, but we'll chat it up. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe to my channel and just stay tuned. God bless you.